Hey there, it's Carrie Rhodes here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and a new paper crafting video. Today I'm making an interactive card. It lights up and it's a shaker. I was dying to put this little crocodile into the swimming pool stamp set and light it up. So I decided let's make it two things, a shaker and a light up. So this is a pool stamp set that I'm using. It's called Backyard Pool. It's from Trinity Stamps, and there's a die to cut out the opening of the pool, perfect for making it a shaker. And this is the Snappy birthday set, and when I saw these, I knew I wanted to put the crocodile in the pool. Here is the pool done with the Summertime Gnomes stamp set, and in that die set for the pool, there's words like make a splash. So I had to show you that card, and here's a card I made with that Snappy birthday stamp set as well. So you can kind of see what they look like going in. And now we're going to jump in and make my light up shaker card. So I have a A2 size piece of cardstock here that I'm going to stamp out this pool image. It's mostly a one-piece stamp set, but there's a few like wave stamps and a couple extra like tufts of grass, which I will use one of those on my card today. So I'm leaving plenty of space at the top for the sky, but there's also a die that can cut across the top of that fence. So you can stamp it straight down and not use any dies, or you can use the fence die and the die that cuts out the opening of the pool. So you've got choices. So there you can see what it looks like stamped up. I am going to color this with Copic markers and as well as this crocodile, but I'm only going to show you parts of the coloring today because there's certain things I really want you to see, and then other parts are just like coloring the images in. So for the fence, I wanted it to be like a white picket fence, so I just did tonal grays. And then for the rock, I did some warm grays, so it would be a little bit different than the fence. Now for the grass, I'm using 3 different shades of green, and you can see it goes from a pretty dark green down to a really, really light green. So I have my YG67 here is my darkest color, and I'm just coloring in that extra little tuft of grass. So the one I just stamped is not part of the main stamp. I just added an extra one here at the bottom corner. I needed to kind of fill in that space. So my mid-tone that I just used is YG17, and then YG03 is my lightest color, and I'll just continue to fill in that whole bottom left corner to complete the grassy area. Then we're going to color in the edge of the pool. I don't need to worry about the actual bottom part of the pool yet because I need to create a whole separate piece for that. So you'll see that come to life, and that's one of the parts I really want to share with you. So for the edge of the pool, I really only used 2 colors, and I kind of tried to leave a white highlight. As I colored there, you'll see I'm not coloring all the way to the line, so it kind of looks like it fades out. I think it makes it look like it's a little bit more shiny, so I love that. So that's a really easy thing. Now I really want to jump right into the sunset. This is the part I really want to share with you so you can see all the coloring. I'm going to create a sunset look that starts with yellow, and we're going to go gradually from yellow to orange to pink to purple, creating a gorgeous sunset behind this fence. So you can see the marker caps on the screen as we go, and I'll show you all the markers I use at the end. But I'm just working between my 2 yellows here and trying to soften that blend. But then once I started coloring, I decided I'm going to do one layer of all the colors, and then I'm going to go back and do all the colors again. Another thing that I like to do when I'm not doing like streaks or flicks with my Copic markers, I tend to color in kind of a circular motion. You'll see that here. I don't know, that's just the way I roll. A lot of my markers are the classics that have a bullet tip, and so whenever I color with those, I'm usually coloring kind of that circular motion. So now you can see here I have moved on from the orange to the pink, and now I'm starting to get into that purple color. And I'm just using the shape of my sun there at the fence to be the starting point for creating this sky. So each section is getting a little less arched, but I've started with that, semicircle and just made it bigger as I went each time. And now we have room for one more color, my final color. This is V05, I believe, as my darkest. And you can see right here, it's looking pretty splotchy, but I wasn't really concerned about that. I didn't feel the need to like fill in everything and really saturate the paper. But I will go over it again, which will automatically do that for me. And you can see the blend between those colors is great because of that second layer. I just love how it turned out. So you can see all the markers right there if you need those colors. All right, for the alligator, crocodile, whatever you want to call him, whatever you want him to be, here are the 4 markers I used to color him up. And now it's time to do some die cutting. So I'm going to cut out this crocodile, and there's going to be some pieces that I'm going to end up cutting away so that he fits into the scene of the pool a little bit better. You can see it kind of cuts out that horizon line and some lily pads. I don't really want those parts, so I'll cut them away myself later. Now on to the die cutting of the pool. I'm only going to use this one die that cuts out the bottom of the pool. And then I'm going to create a second separate piece that'll be the background of this pool that's going to look like water, and that's another part of the coloring I really want you to see. So we'll get to that in a moment, but I wanted to have an even border of the white all the way around, so I just trimmed some of it out because I got the die really close to the line on the back side of the pool. So I evened that out with my scissors. And now let's talk about coloring this water pattern. I am using 4 different shades of blue, and I'm starting with my lightest color and just coloring out kind of an irregular shape. And then I'll take the next layer and it's a darker color, so I'm going to create a blob on top of that that's a little bit darker and a little bit smaller. And I'm doing that each time with all 4 layers. In the end, I don't think that I really needed 4 layers. 3 might have been fine. Really even 2, and having just a lighter edge around there. Also, the shapes irregular works great. Also, coloring so that you can see through your coloring a little bit in some spaces really adds to the feel of this being water and that kind of rippliness that you see when you look across the pool. So I am just going to go over it a second time to really blend those colors together. And when you're doing this, you always want to leave a little bit of white space between your blobs, your shapes, and that helps create that look as well of the water. All right, so I'm just about finished with this. I can reference my pool by putting it over the top of my background to see if there's anywhere I need to fill in a little spot so that the whole bottom of this pool, or the background really of this pool, is covered. And I'm just showing this to you again so you can see how I did it. I think in hindsight, I might have done less colors and more, or less shapes that are like triangular. I don't know. I feel like there's a little something different I could have done with this. I can't quite put my finger on like what it's missing. But one of the things I like to add are some extra lines. And I'm doing this right now with a colorless blender. That's just going to give me a real subtle look of those lines going through the water. I like to have that subtleness, and then I want something that's more in your face. So the in your face part is going to come into play after I finish this. I'm going to bring in a white gel pen and pretty much do the same thing. But here's a close-up look. It's kind of like a snail trail, right? It's really subtle. So now I have my gel pen. This is a size 10, and I'm going to draw lines through here. The lines are going to cross and intersect. If you look up pictures of pool water, you're going to see something very similar to this. So you'll kind of get an idea of what I was going for here. I'd love to know your thoughts on the pool water because, like I said, I feel like there's something I just could tweak a little bit, but overall, I really like how it turned out. So I'm going to trim away those things I don't need for my swimming pool scene, and then he'll be ready to go for a dip in the pool. Isn't it cute? I love how this image has the cake in his mouth. It's so cool. All right, I'm taking my same turquoise markers and filling in the water around him. And then I need to create my shaker and my light up mechanism. So there's a few steps that I have to do in order to do that. I traced the opening of my pool, and I'm cutting my background a little bit larger, but I need space at the top of this pool to put in my light up mechanism, and I didn't want it to interfere with the pool water. So that's why I cut it the way I did. However, I wish I wouldn't have curved the paper and just cut it so that it was a shorter rectangle than it was. You'll see why here shortly. All right, so also I'm trimming away my window sheet that covers up the back of my pool, exposing that upper corner because that's where my light up's going to be. So I'm laying everything out, how it's going to look when the card is put together. So I can now pierce a hole through my background, and that is going to be the spot where the light goes. And I want the light to light up that candle. So I just moved it over slightly and added a hole with my piercing tool. And then I'm going to use a one light from Pearblossom Press to light it up. You can see it's this little pack and a battery. You put the battery in so the plus symbols line up. And then when you push the button, it lights up that little light there. It's an LED light. It doesn't get hot. It's so easy for card making. I love it. I do want to diffuse the light a little bit. So it's only going to go where I want it to go. Without this black paper there, it kind of lights up the whole background. But with the black paper there, it's only going to light up the one area that I really want it to. So that's why I'm using that black piece of paper with the hole pierced in it and lining it up with the hole I already made. All right, so now I can see where the light is going to go. It's in a good spot. I can move back into working on my shaker. So I'm adding this foam tape. Now, this is crucial. This is the Pearblossom Press world's best foam tape because it is the exact right thickness you need to accommodate that battery pack inside your card. It's also great for shakers because it's repositionable. So if you're like, don't have it exactly where you want it, you can pick it up and move it. It's like temporary for up to 30 minutes, and then as time goes on, it'll be permanent and you can't remove it. It's really good. It's really bendy. It's great foam tape. So here I am adding some Snorkel confetti bits, and you'll see when I add my background of my pool, it doesn't quite cover up the whole entire opening of my shaker bits. So what I need to do is add another panel behind this. It could be your card base, but it's really hard to line the card base up to the background that's upside down. So I just cut a second piece of white cardstock, and it is about 4 inches or 4 1/8. So it's a little bit smaller than my actual card front, and that really helped me to be able to center it on there. All right, now it's time to glue on the crocodile on the front, making sure the candle lines up with the hole that I pierced, and then I need some directions on my card for the recipient. So I have the Papercrafting Magic Stamp Set. I stamped the word push onto a little scrap, and I'm cutting this down as small as I can. I don't want it to be super obvious on my paper. So then I put that on the fence and did the word shake next. I'm going to color this so it's the same color as the grass, and then I'm going to put that next to the pool. So we have the interactive element where you push and the light comes on, and then the interactive element of the pool. I have taken a piece of purple glittered cardstock, backed it with some rip and stick sheets, and I'm going to use the graham cracker alphabet to die cut out the word surprise. So I'm really creating glitter sticker letters. And that's going to go right in the sky, and this purple really paired nicely with the purples of my sunset. So I'm going to stick those down, and this adhesive is also repositionable for a little bit, and then it will stick down and become more permanent. So that's really good, especially when you're trying to line up letters and space them and all those things. Okay, so that's done. I'm going to add it to my A2 size card front, and then I need a little something on the inside. So I brought in the It's Time to Celebrate stamp set from Love Dani. She's the one that designed it for Trinity Stamps, and she's amazing. I love this scrippy happy birthday. I'm going to use the same exact colors that I used to create the sunset on my card to color in this word. Now it's like drawn with bubble letters, so it really speaks to being colored. It wants to be colored, right? So that's what I'm doing, and just keeping the purple at the top and working my way through pink, orange, and yellow. So the yellow is going to be at the bottom. And then when I move on to the word birthday, I'm going to do that opposite. So the yellows are going to be towards the top and the purples will be towards the bottom, but all the colors will kind of come to the center. You know what I mean? We'll go from the outside in on both, just like that. Isn't that cool? I even brought in my white gel pen and added some highlights there. And there is a coordinating die to bubble cut this out. So that's going to look really cool on the inside of my card, bringing a little bit of that sunset feel from the outside to the inside. And it's a nice surprise when you're opening up the card to see that it has something cool there. So here is my light up shaker birthday surprise card. I think it's more fun to have little interactive elements on a special occasion like a birthday. So there's my card. I think if you live in Florida, this card might be more funny than it is to somebody else, because this is, you know, like a real thing that can happen if you live in Florida. So there's my happy birthday light up shaker card. I thank you so much for stopping by and letting me share it with you. If you like light up cards or shaker cards, I have a playlist of both of these kind of cards because I love to make them. And I hope you'll check those out, or these videos that I'm sharing with you on the screen right now. I have the supply list linked for you below. And if you're new here, feel free to subscribe because I have new paper crafting videos all the time just for you. And I'll see you then. Happy stamping! Bye.